Hello everybody and welcome back to another amazing Vectorinator tutorial. My name is Sandra Staub. I'm an illustrator based in Zurich, Switzerland. And what we're going to do today is we are going to look into the option of turning some of your amazing illustrations into postcards. I'm just going to walk you quickly through how I vectorize one of the sketches that I have and then how you can prepare them ready to be printed and just send them to the printer, everything in between basically. Just as I did here with this postcard set that was moth themed. So I hope you're up to this challenge and I'll see you in a little bit.
And yeah, here we are. Also, here are the type of postcards we'll design today. I created these around the moth theme, as you can tell. There's at least one little moth hidden somewhere in all these layouts. I actually made these as a challenge with another artist friend to celebrate National Moth Week, which sounds funny, but honestly, you'll be surprised by all the places you can find inspiration. If you also have a bunch of designs that you made around a theme, you can just convert them into something that you can potentially also monetize. And that was the perfect opportunity for me to make this postcard set. Very minimal. I intentionally left a lot of blank space in the back so people can use them exactly the way they want. I really like how they turned out. The colors are rich and you can see there is no gloss on them. It's more like a satin finish. And you can even see the texture of the paper. I'm just very much in love with the result. And I think these look so beautiful in a bundle. Like this one here. Wrap a little cord, add some branding, and that's it. This is a nice way to make money as an artist, or it can be a great gift for family and friends. So let's see how I got there. I'll start with a new document. So the format I have here is square, following the width of an A6, but it's longer. So let's set this up precisely. Let's pick custom size, change to millimeters, and input 148 by 148 millimeters. The DIN system is my cup of tea, since I'm based in Zurich, but you'll see the conversion to inches on the screen below. Let's name and create. Here we go. Let's make the background straight off the bat. So let's draw a square that covers my artboard in this lovely light pink. I prefer to go past the format just to be on the safe side. Maybe you're 1 millimeter away from the edge and that will show when printing, so we definitely do not want that. Plus, nothing outside the artboard gets exported, so we're double safe. Let's lock this and create a new layer for the sketch that I prepared for you. Let's bring it in here. I want to resize it so it fits the postcard better, and holding one finger here ensures that we're not distorting the design. I'm going all the way up here. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so this is just an occupational hazard basically. Okay, then let's lock it and add a new layer for the actual vector design. I'm going to get started with the petals. I'm just drawn to them today, and honestly, this is my own way of getting started with a design. Start with what you like, and the rest will follow. I'm going to recreate these with the pencil tool for that added organic feel. Now I'm checking what stroke will fit, and I landed on 1.5. Everything about this will be delicate and minimal. One last thing before going in, let's reduce the opacity of the vector layer so I can better understand what and where I'm tracing. Okay, cool. Just one extra last thing. This controls the smoothing of my path. So if it's this high, the path will be automatically smoothed out by the software. If it's really low, then the path will stay exactly as I drew it. It really depends on what you want to achieve. Just be mindful that under the hood, the paths are going to be very different. More accuracy equals more nodes, making your paths harder to control and edit. In comparison with something like this, which is more simplified. So now I'm just redrawing the wobbly lines as closely as I can, as freely as you see. Now with the node tool, I just make sure that there's nothing too angular or out of place. You can see basically just how microscopic we can make these changes, so everything is seamless. And where I want to add more waves to the path, I add another node and adjust the handles. That's it. Let's do the petals down here as well. The process is the same, but I just want to stress that nodes might seem daunting or scary even to work with. But it's really just about moving their position where they need to be, or moving the handles so it changes the curve. Vectors are based on math, but in the end, it's experience that tells me what adjustments delivers what result. So just poke around until you get it. That's what I did. Now for our leaves here, the only thing changing is the fact that they will be filled in shapes instead of just a stroke. I'll actually lower the smoothing a bit since I feel that my shapes before were corrected rather too much. Then let's choose a dark blue for the stroke and turn fill on with the same color. So we can create shapes like these. Let's not forget to lower the opacity here, especially with a dark color. This is pretty important. To add the stem, I simply deactivate the fill and draw a simple line here. Really nothing crazy. But I'll adjust the curve a bit so it looks like this one seamless leaf rather than two elements put together. We learned all that's needed to make the rest. So let's quickly go through the process and jump to the next milestone. That's what we have until this point. But now that I see it, I think I'll make these two leaves dark, just because I feel it balances out a little bit better. Allow yourself to make any edits along the way. No concept is truly materialized until, well, in this case, until it's actually printed. So let's add the stem with the pencil tool right here. Tap and tap. Super simple. Now it's time for some symmetry magic. Let's select everything we've done so far, bring it a little bit closer to the center, and activate the duplicate tool. And then just drag and drop all my objects over here. So the bounding box on the right side is placed exactly on the stem. Then just flip it. And because of the alignment we did earlier, it went exactly where it needed to go. And now if we turn off the background, we can see our lovely design so far. So, okay, I've decided to draw these little leaves here to fill in the negative space. They're small, but they make a big difference, I think. Alright, now I'm adding some elements to the background, which is a circle done with the oval tool, then holding your finger down. And then I'm adding some cool lines here on the bottom half of the circle. I tend to go for these types of structures that seem simple, but they're packed with meaning and symbolism. To make sure we didn't make a mess of the spacing between the lines, we're going to go into vertical distribution here. You can also apply a mask if your lines go outside the circle, but I was pretty neat when drawing them and I don't think it's necessary. Using the same electric coral, I've created a tiny moon at the top with 2 circles and a simple subtract operation. If you want to know why I chose the colors I did, then watch my Brand Yourself with Color tutorial. It goes in depth as to why I'm practically married to all these shades. Finally, we can't forget to add a moth to the design. I'm just pulling a sketch of a moth I did in Procreate and now I'm just going to redraw it, but not in full. We're doing half and then duplicate it. First, make the sketch and the vector a bit transparent. And with the pen tool, you can just trace all these lines here. The pen tool most definitely does not work like the pencil tool, but if you're having issues with it, the pencil tool will work just fine. I just wanted to show you another technique. So start with one tap, then tap and drag to define the curve. And since my lines are so short, I'm trying to create them with 2 nodes only. It might be different from the sketch to begin with, but the node tool is here to help. And why not, let's introduce another tool here, where we want to create this tip. We can just switch to brush mode and select this sort of brush that seems to do the job. Then we can edit it even further from the brush editing panel. So if I make this bigger, the tip becomes less pointy as a result. Here in the color window, we can see exactly what I'm doing. Let's do the same for the antenna. Okay, now let's make the moth whole. Activate duplicate, move the copy while holding down one finger so you can move it on the same horizontal line. And then use a teardrop to align them perfectly. That's it. Lovely progress so far. I want to push the design a bit further and delete these parts of the circle or lines that cross any other elements, which we can do very easily with the scissors tool. Just tap where you need to cut the path, so here and here, and then you can select and delete it. Where you find that an end is peeking through, just add an extra node and delete the very last anchor point. So I'll just go around and delete any pink path that intersects with any other objects. We'll chat after. The final detail I added was my signature. Be sure to have yours handy. A bit of branding goes a very long way. And with that, we've wrapped up the first part of this tutorial. Let's go to part 2, where we'll design the back of the card and we'll look at the correct way to export for print. So click on the video you see on the screen now to finish this project.